Guys, this is the best camera smartphone from the Camon series, arguably the best techno device yet. You get 120Hz refresh rates, AMOLED display, and the all-new Helio G96 gaming processor, 8GB of RAM, and 256GB of internal storage, and also a 33W fast charger. Well, is this actually worth your 182,000 Naira or about $350 that TECNO wants you to pay for the smartphone? I guess you want to find out, and so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. Now, as usual, we're going to start with the unboxing or items you get from within the box of the smartphone. You get the basics. After getting the smartphone from within the box, you are sure to find a TPU protection case. You get the warranty sticker and a pair of earphones and also USB-C connectors, and then a fast 33W charger, which I'll talk more about later in this video. Lastly, you should find the SIM ejector tool. Say it as it is, this is an attractive piece of hardware that got me all smiles immediately I opened this box for the first time. So, a plastic frame sandwiched with glass on both sides. I know I said I loved the design on the TECNO Phantom X, but this here is almost stealing that crown. I would consider this an industrial themed smartphone, and the color I have here is called the Polar Night, but you can also get a vast sky variant. Even though everything feels like a flat slab of glass, the corners are rounded and the camera module at the rear protrudes, making it one of those smartphones that wobble on flat surfaces except you use the case for the smartphone. This rear camera module gives you a triple camera layout, having the main lens, an ultra-wide, and a zoom lens or a telephoto lens. I'm really going to touch on those later in this video, as the Camon series is definitely geared towards the camera lovers, so stick around for that. Now, the top of the smartphone has a secondary microphone, and the left side houses a dual SIM tray on one side and a dedicated memory expansion slot at the opposite side. The right side gives you this tactile volume rocker, which feels like the K40 Pro from Redmi, and the trusted side-mounted fingerprint scanner and power button all in one. Bottom side has a headphone jack retained, mouthpiece opening, USB-C ports, and a downfire speaker grill, which is easy to block out. Now, the speakers on the TECNO Camon 18 Premier isn't the best you get around. At the highest or maximum volume, you should expect some distortions from this smartphone's speaker. And also, something I noticed here is that the speakers on the TECNO Phantom X sounds cleaner and more heavier in terms of the bass than what you get from the Camon 18 Premier. So as far as security on here, or how you can access the smartphone, you have the standard side-mounted fingerprint sensor or scanner, which is quite fast for the job it does here. And also you get the option to unlock this TECNO Camon 18 Premier with your face. So you have a face unlock feature on the smartphone. Now, over to the front side of the smartphone, of course, is the display. Specs wise, you have a 6.7-inch Full HD AMOLED display, which refreshes at 120Hz. It gets up to 550 nits of brightness, and this is one of the smoothest implementations from the brand. All I can say here is that this is a superb display. Refresh rate makes the animation smoother than even the Phantom X. It is reasonably bright under direct sunlight, and the color reproduction on here is solid and enjoyable for media consumption. So resolution, the brightness, the size of this display here, and the display tech that's on the smartphone are solid for the price you are paying. Power usage on this device isn't something you should be worried about. You get a 4750 mAh internal battery with a 33W fast charger included in the box. Now, from the specs page, you should get 65% charge after 30 minutes of being plugged in power, and that wasn't far from the truth from my test in the studio here. So I'm gonna leave like a text on screen right now for you to see how this device charged over different time periods in my test. It took me about an hour 6 minutes to charge this device from 0 to 100 using the 33W charger from within the box. So as far as the usage here, the battery power usage here, you should get a full day of use, and coupled with that fast charging speed, you shouldn't be worried about the battery life on here. It is solid. The skin on Android 11, which you get from here, the Camon 18, is HiOS 8. This UI looks a little more refined and cleaned up. Icons are bolder in the control center, and just like Xiaomi's implementation from MIUI, when you swipe from the left corner of the screen down, you get to see the notifications, and when you swipe from the top right corner of the screen downwards, you get to see the control center icons, which are all on one page. You don't have to swipe left or right to get everything in view. And I really love that. I like the new HiOS, except for the bloatware apps you get to see once more here, most of which are removable. And yeah, I haven't noticed ads yet so far from the smartphone. The brain of operations here is the Helio G96 processor from Mediatek, which is a refresh to the Helio G95. Truth be told here, they are not really that different, except for the fact that it gets support for 120Hz refresh rate for the display, a faster storage or memory, I think UFS 2.2. On this processor, you have a better LTE modem and support for higher megapixel resolution. But then the G95 performs slightly better when it comes to graphically intensive operations on a smartphone. So as far as performance, with 8GB of RAM, 256GB of internal storage, and a cleaned up UI, this smartphone not only does it feel smooth, it performs accordingly. As can be seen on screen, here are the benchmark scores for both Antutu and Geekbench for those who love to see this kind of stuff. When it comes to gaming, this performs great. Of course, the G series are tuned and optimized for gaming, and that's exactly what you get to see when playing mobile games like PUBG or Call of Duty Mobile on the smartphone. Gaming performance is quite around the G95, which is a powerful processor I've recommended on this channel a lot for mid-range devices. It gets slightly warm, performs efficiently, and the only thing you'd get to worry about while gaming with the smartphone is covering the mono downfiring speaker from one side of the smartphone while gaming. Now the cameras we have here are a triple setup at the rear and a single front-facing camera. From top to bottom here, you have a 64 megapixel main sensor, just like what we got on the Camon 17 Pro, and you have a 12 megapixel ultra-wide lens with OIS, and also an 8 megapixel periscope telephoto lens, while you have the 32 megapixel front-facing camera. Starting with the main lens here, I think it does a wonderful job with the photos and videos it takes. You get a whole lot of details in images, and it tends to capture more on the flatter side than say saturated and vibrant looking photo you get from the Samsung devices. As far as I can tell here, the photos are really great, they are sharp, good looking, and maintain more like a flat profile. Now I'm going to put up two photos on screen, one from the Camon 18 Premier and the other from the Samsung Galaxy A52. I would love you guys to tell me what you think about these photos. Which do you prefer? I personally think they are really close, except for the more saturation and a little more detail in the shadows from Samsung. The Super Night mode feature is one that is really impressive. While you get dark images in low light, this feature comes to the rescue as seen here, providing you with better images in that type situation. The ultra wide on the other hand, although doesn't take as nice photos as the main camera, it for sure would come in handy when you need to take a group photo and also want to use that gimbal OIS feature with the ultra wide. So TECNO claims to give you a gimbal stabilized footage when you take videos or make videos using the ultra wide lens on here, which is a lens at the center. While I can't refute that claim because it actually does work and gets you less shaky footage when recording videos with this feature, but it doesn't really seem like something out of this world. It's a feature that works just like every other smartphone that has that feature built into their smartphones. So you wouldn't have to worry about those shaky videos, all thanks to the implementation this year on the TECNO Camon 18 Premier. Over to the 8 megapixel telephoto lens, you shouldn't expect the same quality as the main lens, and also this lens kicks in when you tap on the 5x icon on the screen. As far as I'm concerned, anything beyond 5x isn't as pleasant as you would want it to look. I took photos up to 60x as that's the maximum zoom range you get from the smartphone, but at that point the photos look like a water painting. I wonder why you'd want to zoom in that much though, but hey, you have that feature on here. Again, 5 to 10x would be my limit for the zoom features on smartphones. The maximum resolution you get for videos on here is 2K and not 4K. The only way to get stabilized footage while recording with the smartphone would be in 1080p, but when you switch to 2K resolution, you no longer have that stabilization feature on the video. Colors here are okay and vibrant for what they are, and truer to life than I had anticipated. Generally, you have a solid camera system with a wide variety of options, like the ultra wide, the telephoto, and also a wide dynamic range. So for 182,000 naira, about $350, this is a good mid-range smartphone. Performance is amazing, and that's 120Hz AMOLED display. It's something I really love about the smartphone. You have great cameras for the price. The build quality and design here is one I love. Generally, this isn't difficult to recommend. Of course, there are worthy competitors out there, like from Redmi, Samsung, and the likes here, but this very one puts up a good fight. So that's my review for the TECNO Camon 18 Premier. What do you guys think about the smartphone? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, do not forget to like this video and subscribe if you are new here. And also, share this video. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Call you that day.